right now we're going to talk about Steadfast Marshal. He is a void affinity Bannerlord's HP based rare champion, but we're going to talk in regards to the fusion. Right now there's a fusion going on. We got Kantra fusion, Kantra the legendary, Kantra the Cyclone, right? Awesome little defense based champion. I'm going for her. I want the fusion. I want to make it happen. But right now we're going to talk about the components of the fusion to see if they are worth it, to see if you should keep them for your account instead of actually fusing them for a Kantra, because it's a big fusion. It's hard to do and hard to accomplish. I'm going for it. I missed one champion. I might not get it. Hopefully I can still pull it off. We shall see. But we're talking about Basher right now. Basher is the epic champion that we're discussing. Instead, we're actually talking about the rare champions that make up Basher itself. Is it worth keeping these champions and these rare champions for your account? Right now, we're going to talk about the Steadfast Marshal. He is one of the components for Basher. Come here. There you are. And we're going to talk about his kit to see if potentially where it could be used at, where it could be useful, and if he can help progress your account. His A1 attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for one turn if the target's max HP is lower than this champion's. Damage is also based off of HP. So that 50% chance can be booked up to a 50, 55, 60, 65, a 75% chance, possibly 80% chance if you master him down the support side, right? 80% chance to land a provoke debuff for one turn if the target's max HP is lower than the next target's max HP. That's an interesting kit. You like provokes. Provokes are nice debuffs, right? Provokes are a good CC, or form of CC. You land a provoke on an enemy champion, that enemy champion has to attack the champion that landed the provoke with their A1 only. No A2, no A3, no power moves, A1 only. Interesting kit. Interesting idea, interesting concept. It tries to synergize with that max HP concept. You build more max HP, you build more damage, you build more max HP, you have a better chance of landing that provoke to draw that champion back here to Steadfast Marshal. I like it. His A2 places a 60% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns and grants him an extra turn. It's on a 3-turn cooldown if you book it out. Okay, so here's what I don't like about these kind of skills here. So you're going to put a buff on this champion. Okay, only this champion, not the other champion. So it's it's a selfish skill, selfish buff, a buff on him only, and then grants him an extra turn. The problem with that is as soon as you get that extra turn, you cycle off one of those 2 turns of that duration of that buff. Yes, it's on a 3-turn cooldown, 2-turn duration. You place it, take the extra turn. Next thing you know, it's only 2 more turns until it comes back up. However, you're just going to cycle that buff right off. It only lasts 2 turns. You just took an extra turn. Next thing you know, it's only there for 1 more turn, and that's it. You're losing half of the benefit of that defense up, of that buff, with this skill, with the extra turn built into the skill. If the extra turn was built into like the A3 or the A1 in some way, in some capacity, then I would like it a little bit better, but I don't like the fact that it's a selfish skill and only buffs himself. His A3 places a veil buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. I like that synergizing with the A1, right? He provokes. His A2 selfishly defends himself. I got it. Then his A3 places a veil on everybody else so they can't be targeted. That's the idea. The idea is to try to focus and funnel all the enemy champions into him, to attack him. Veil prevents him from attacking the other ones. Provoke into him. I like it. It's an interesting concept. I think there's too many working parts to really make it for a rare champion to make it work well. Maybe kind of hard. I definitely do think you should be keeping a copy of him in your champion pool to potentially see what you can do with him, where he can be helpful at. He can be helpful in the dungeons in general. Any dungeon waves, he can help funnel those waves to him instead of your other champions, keep your other champions alive. So he can definitely a decent little support-based champion for the dungeon waves. He's only got 1 offensive skill with 1 hit. So he's not your damage dealer. He's a support champion to help damage mitigate against the rest of your team. To keep your team alive, that is what his goal is there for. However, he doesn't have a heal. I think he's going to lack in that department, in that role that player have designed and created him for. I think there's many other champions that perform that role much better than him. So, keep a copy in your champion pool, but I would use them for fusion first. Use them for fusion. Any additional copies, keep one in your champion pool. Anything after that, I don't know if you should book them out with the copies. I think you should actually probably use those copies to build up other champions to 6-star. And then, at the end, once you got all your 60s, then you can throw some books in the sky. But at that point, who knows? I don't think you really need them. Alright, so who's the next champion in the fusion that we're going to talk about? Come here. No, not the fragments. I like that concept that Player finally gave us. Fragments. That's pretty cool. Alright, the next one we're going to talk about is actually from Basher. We talked about Bone Knight. We talked about Fencer. We just talked about Steadfast Marshal. Last one is going to be Chopper. What can Chopper bring to the table? Do I have a Chopper? I think I have a Chopper. Where is my Chopper at? Chopper, where'd you go? Oh, do I not have a Chopper? Uh-oh, that's not a good thing. I don't have a Chopper? I do have a Chopper somewhere. Where's my Chopper? Oh, well, I'll find him later. We'll do a video on him in just a minute, and as I say that, I find him. Boom, there he is. He's a Magic Affinity attack champion. Is he worth fusing? Is he worth fusing for Basher? Is Chopper worth fusing for Basher? Let's go find out. Right over there. Let's roll.